In retrospect, people go back and analyze the movie and say, oh, how clever, they wove in these influences and those influences. If you really saw how the movie was put together, you would say, oh my God, you mean they did it this way?
We made each other laugh so much during all these story sessions and script sessions. There was a great mixture of people in the room that we could bounce off of each other and write together and create together.
We would be rushing into a recording session and shoveling pizza into our mouths and sitting in the lobby going, we've got to come up with something funny for Nathan to say. And it's done very spontaneously, and it's like playing jazz. And the ideas start to come together and inspire other ideas, and that turns into the movie.
All works of art, all great works of art, always are from a process, and they're not always self-evident while you're doing them.
Image on the screen needn't be epic and vast and grandiose, although we tried to do all those things. And one of the most compelling images is the father's paw print and Simba's little paw going into it. It had everything to do with ideas, and Rob and Roger had a strong idea about the thematic between father and the son, and a son taking his father's place, and that became really moving for the audience after a while. We're artists and filmmakers, and so intuitively you bring your emotions and feelings to the table. We all, Rob and Roger and I, and so many of us on the movie had strong feelings about our dads and our relationships with our families.
Yeah, my father died just a few years before I started Lion King, so it definitely was in there informing the whole thing. Okay. I know when we finished the movie, one of the things we wanted to do was to dedicate it to our fathers, to all fathers, which I thought would be a nice idea.
Clearly there's an element in the movie I've sort of always called the daddy issue. What have I resolved with my father? What remains? What guilt do I have that I was never able to clear up with my father? Simba has this horrible guilt that he feels like he somehow caused his father's death. And then the chance to go back, the chance to, in a sense, see his father.
We were building this idea of Mufasa returning, because that idea wasn't always in the story. In very, very early drafts, Mufasa dies, but that's it. And I think when we went back into our major re-looking at the story, that was one of the main things that we came up with, was that Mufasa would return in Simba's hour of need.
I think that's something that internally we've all maybe dreamed of and we never really talk about, but wouldn't you love to be able to reach out into time and touch your father, your ancestor, someone who came before you, and say, what do I do? What am I doing wrong? Show me the way. Simba gets to do that.
You have forgotten who you are, and so forgotten me. Look inside yourself, Simba.
It's very cryptic, but it's really meaningful, because the theme then is, well, the answer is not out there somewhere. The answer is in there.